Good good afternoon, everybody. Um, I just not that long ago got back from getting the kids from their moms, and they're outside playing with the neighbor kids. We were gonna watch a movie on Hulu, but there's something going on with Hulu. Like I tried logging in, it wouldn't let me log in because it logged me out somehow, and now there's an overflow of traffic on there. So I thought, while they're playing with the kids, I'm gonna do this, which is better anyways. Um, but I'm wearing a hoodie not because I'm crazy, even though it's warm, but because it's raining outside. I just never took it off. But they're outside playing. So if you hear kids, that's them with the other kids. So I thought I just heard them a few seconds ago. Anyways, it's been a crazy weekend and day for news on the current events front there. Um, one thing that everyone's talking about is that the it sounds like the stock market has crashed or is crashing hard. People are pulling their stocks out because things aren't worth anything anymore, and this all just started happening this morning. Um, Riots and all that happening over across the pond in the UK, um, over in Bangladesh. They were storming their um, leaders' homes. Excuse me. But it's a cloudy day and stormy day, so I get tired on those days. I think everybody does. But and more threats to Israel. Actually, there is another one saying that in the next 24 hours that there's going to be something happening. Uh, Iran's going to be attacking Israel, from what they say. But Israel collapsed back, saying, "Hey, if you attack my people, I'm going to attack you and anybody else who tries to come against us," in like a two-step thing. So people talk about the Samson option, which I think ends up being nuclear. So we'll have to see how that happens here. We don't know. Um, but it's the wars and rumors of wars, ladies and gentlemen, that the Bible has prophesied, that Christ was talking to the disciples about, the wars and rumors of wars. Nation will be against nation, kingdom against kingdom. And today's message, today's video is one that I've wanted to actually get to, but we've kind of gone on little side quests, side quest videos. But today I'm going to talk about the patterns that we see in life, the patterns that we see, the evidence, and the rise on what the great leader that becomes the Antichrist, the rise of him, on what goes on there. So um, I got my little whiteboard, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make a little timeline. So let me get a Kleenex. I'm gonna wipe this up here. I can't remember where my little pen is that has the eraser on it. But let's see, what colors are we gonna use? We got 4 here with a red. I'm gonna use the red for something special here. Okay. There's my daughter. She's got some coughs. Maybe she's catching a cold. And there's my son. Hi, buddy.
Hi.
I'm doing another video here. You guys, where's the other kids?
They went inside to find the remote.
Oh, there she is, right there.
Oh, wait, Ariana is up there? Oh, there they'll go.
You guys should have just stayed out there. They do this all the time. They go back and forth. The other kids go in, they come in. I see them come out, they go out. It's funny. Um, Okay, so we're gonna do a timeline here. We're gonna do it like this. We're going to have this one here. The dark blue here. Well, that's thick. And then the light blue here. And then, just a second, let me get this. Written up here. So I'm doing this off camera here. And I'm going to keep these markers right nearby here because I'll need them. Oh, that's totally different. Oh, those are, no wonder why those are darker. Those are totally different. Anyways, okay. So I made a little timeline here. There's nothing else on the board. It's all white until we get to where I want to talk about. So we have the church age, 7-year tribulation, and then the millennial kingdom. Now, the arrows going up, this is the rapture, and the arrow coming down is Christ's second coming when he finally comes down, steps foot on the earth for the second time since his ascension. Now, what we are going to do, you know what? I'm going to pause quick. I'm going to try to see if I can't find my black marker. Okay, I found it. So, what I'm going to talk about today is this area right here, that area, and the beginning. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow that up on the board here. And that's blue, red and blue. So sorry if this seems to be like a lot of nothing until we talk about what's going on here. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to talk about patterns and evidence. And we're going to be talking, like I said, we're going to be talking about this small small area here. Now, this area here, um, this is a time. I think it's a time of transition. Now, I'm not going to say in and of itself that, you know, this is predicted in the Bible. I know the lawless one, the Antichrist himself. There's a lot of descriptions of who he is in the Bible. I'll get to that maybe next video. But there's a time here that um, after the rapture happens, what's going to happen there? Um, you gotta, we gotta think. Um, what is the pattern? What do we got going on? And with everything happening over in Israel right now, with the war between Israel, Hamas, and all of these other nations surrounding Israel, um, it's war. Israel is at war with Iran, Hamas, and all the uh, Arab nations and all the other Palestinian nations. Like they're at war right now. Now, let's see here. It says in Daniel. I wonder if I can just quickly pick it out without having to take too much more time. It says in Daniel that um, he will make a covenant with many for 1 week. Um, Sorry. Like I said, we're here. I just want to make sure. Oh, actually, here we go. Okay, so the vision explained. Here's what the vision of Daniel says. Um, so it says, then I wanted to know the true meaning of the fourth beast and the one so different from the others and so terrifying. It had devoured and crushed its victims with iron teeth and bronze claws, trampling their remains beneath its feet. I asked about the 10 horns and the fourth beast's head, and the little horn that came upon afterward and destroyed 3 of the other horns. This horn had seemed greater than the others, and it had human eyes and a mouth that was boasting arrogantly, which is the Antichrist. It's the man who comes to power. He has very, very strong charisma. Like his charisma is immense. Like he's gonna convince people to do things almost to the point where you think it's like mind control, but you're going to do it because that's that powerful. Um, as I watched, the horn was waging war against God's holy people, which is Israel, um, and was defeating them until the Ancient One, the Most High, came and judged in favor of his holy people. Then the time arrived for the holy people to take over the kingdom. Then he said to me, the fourth beast is the fourth world power that will rule the earth. Which means there had been three world powers before that have ruled over the earth. And I myself have not delved into like old powers. I just kind of go into what we see now currently. So this is yet a power to yet come under one person. Which this is why I think it's interesting that when people don't read Daniel, they think, oh well, all this stuff is already passed. No, it's not. Somebody had once said that like the millennial kingdom had passed. It's like no, the millennial kingdom had not passed. Um, where was I? It will devour. Oh wait, it will be different from all the others. It will devour the whole earth, trampling and crushing everything in its path. Its 10 horns are 10 kings who will rule that empire. Then another king will arise, different from the other 10, who will subdue 3 of them. He will defy the Most High and oppress the holy people of the Most High. He will try to change their sacred festivals and laws, and they will be placed under his control for time, times, and half a time. But then the court will pass judgment, and all his power will be taken away and completely destroyed. Then the sovereignty, power, and greatness of all the kingdoms under heaven will be given to the holy people. And the Most High, his kingdom will last forever, and all rulers will serve and obey him. That was the end of the vision. I, Daniel, was terrified by my thoughts, and my face was pale with fear, but I kept these things to myself. Um, so, as we see here in Daniel, it says it will be different from the others. The fourth beast is the fourth world power that will rule the earth. Now, think about the implications of having to be able to rule the entire world. Right now, we have countries, we have governments, we have everything with themselves um, governing over each area, each land. And when like the American government is different from the UK government, and that's different from the African government, for these countries, clearly, and different from the Chinese government, Japanese, you get it. So, how on earth are you going to be able to have everything to be under your rule? Well, you have to have that great charisma. You have to have the ability to come to power and convince everyone. Now, it says in there too that 3 of these horns will be destroyed. Things will be divided into tens, but 3 of them are going to be destroyed. Now, I myself believe that America ends up being one of those horns that gets destroyed for this reason. Um, the most important to think of right now is we in 2024 are in an election year. And if you looked at the news lately of Biden, his condition, them wanting him to them pushing him out, but then they want Kamala Harris to be in as president. Now, technically, by that duty, if they say, "Hey, Biden, we need you to go. We need you out. You're mentally not fit for this role anymore." By that um, submission, Kamala Harris would have to step in. That's her role. That's what being a vice president is. There's no election to this. That's their job to do that. Think about when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. His vice president stepped in immediately because he died. essentially you can almost say that Biden has died, but like mentally died. Harris has to step in. Now, everybody wants to take Trump as this, oh, he's going to be in office. Here's the evidence of why the tribulation needs to happen before this. Because if the Antichrist, whoever has that charisma, Christians and those who have faith in the death and resurrection, who are saved, they're protected by God. We always have been. And especially when it comes to the lies and deceit that come about the earth, we can see that that is the power of discernment that we have. So when it comes to um, the Antichrist deceiving people, the Antichrist coming on the scene, like we will know this is the person here that goes, what's up?
Leah's trying to connect to our internet and she needs help with a password.
I'll do that a little bit later, okay?
Okay.
Just wait until I'm done and I can do that to you later.
Okay.
You have to be able to have minds that are easily melded to that. That's why a lot of what's in the Bible, tells Christians do not be deterred or dissuaded by any other false doctrines, any other false prophets, false teachings, false this and false that. A lot of what Paul's ministry is, to the ecclesia, to the church, and saying, hey, this is what's going to happen in the end times. This is what's going to happen in the last days. At this point, make sure you are sober and vigilant. Make sure that you're like, hey, I am not going to be worrying about or not be, thinking, oh, well, that person says this. I better believe it. No, that person says this. Oh, I better believe that. No, our minds, if our minds are set on God, if our minds are on the word, we don't have to worry about being deceived because we know the truth. And as it says, the truth will set you free. So this is why the rapture needs to happen before he comes around, because no one of faith, Christianity, or who are saved or believers, by the end it's going to be believers, would be around, because we'd be like, no, don't pay attention to that guy. Look, here's the evidence. And we would be able to counter that as we have for year after year after year. But for him to easily mold people's minds with his charisma, he has to be able to mold everybody's minds. And that includes, what says the Bible, even the elect, the governments. He's going to be able to come in like a fresh breath of air. Like he's going to come around, things are going to happen. The reason why there has to be a peace treaty with the Antichrist is because Israel and everybody around Israel are all going to be at war. Now, is this the Third World War? No. What we have now is not a Third World War. There's a couple of wars that happen in the Bible that I think Ezekiel 38 and 39 is the Third World War that happens, because it's literally everybody against Israel. But the war that we have now is war that has to bring upon a deal. And they've been talking about peace treaties. They've been talking about peace and security more recently than ever. So this little gap that I showed you here, right here, this here is a transition. The rapture happens so the Antichrist, or whoever ends up being the Antichrist, the man of lawlessness, he comes on the scene. But it takes time to get into power. It's not going to pop on the scene and be like, "Oh, hey, yeah, everybody, I'm the ruler of the world now. Here's what happened," and never be like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and have you the ruler." No, it takes time because not only will the world be in such shock of what happens with the rapture, we go up, the church goes up, and people are like, "What?" It's not an isolated incident in one town or one house. It's everywhere, worldwide. People vanish. Freaks everybody out. So what goes on there? Um, People are looking for answers. What happened? Think about all of the disclosures of UFOs and aliens and extraterrestrials that have come out heavily in the last 5 years. I think 5 to 7 years. And think about the fact that like God's going to put a delusion, give a great delusion or a great deception. I think it's a delusion that people are going to believe. And it's not that God's gonna be like, okay, now you're going to believe this. It's just the fact that like he's going to allow people to believe this. Now, of course, if we ourselves know that I've never seen a UFO. I think it would be fun to see a UFO, but I've never seen a UFO. Um, do I think that planets and all that have other things going on? Probably. God would not create this entire universe for us to not be able to explore at some point in time. Hey, buddy.
And um, does he will not give me his phone, I want to use your phone.
Well, I'm currently using my phone, buddy. So don't worry, we'll get things going. You go outside and play for a little bit. When I'm done here, we'll get some stuff going. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. um, well, like I said, so God has the universe. He created that, and it's gonna take us forever and a day to explore all that, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I know. I just that's my interest is space and what goes on. But so the Antichrist has this time. The man who comes onto the scene, he's gonna come on really charismatic. He's gonna be like, "Hey, you know what? I understand people are scared." It's going to be a calm voice. I understand people are scared. Hey, this is what's going on. He's going to be talking to everybody through the 7 year tribulation. Like, hold on, hold on, hold on. I get it. Listen to me. It's going to be calming to the point where like you will be drawn into him all the time. That's how people will believe, oh, this guy could be the Messiah. The Jews will believe he's the Messiah. And as he starts coming to power, it's going to be very, very subtle at first, but it's gonna be quickly. It's gonna be quick, not like to the degree of um, like a matter of weeks. I'm thinking it could be a matter of months before he comes to power. But there's a transition because once he's able to come to power, that's when he starts convincing everybody, look, we need a peace treaty. Israel, Palestine, could have peace. And that's when he starts to say, hey, everybody, let's sign this peace deal. When that happens, that's when 7 year tribulation starts. Once that treaty is signed, then the 7 years start. But there's that transition point where he's able to bring his way to power, talk to governments, talk to people, get his name out there on social media, get his name out there um, in the news. He's going to be next to what's going on in Israel, the next big thing happening. And if you think about it, so I like listening to the Left Behind series, the audio drama, and you can actually find those on YouTube. The uh, YouTube channel Jeff Foss, Jeffffo, excuse me, Foss. And then you go to the playlist, you'll see Left Behind audio drama. It's a playlist. Click on that. You can listen to all of them. I love doing it. There's also the kids one that I'm probably going to start listening to again. They're parallel stories. Left Behind, the series is here. The kids happen at the exact same time as that. But that one shows that one has where the rapture happens, and you can definitely for that one the rapture happens, and it takes some time for the Antichrist to come to power, which is what I'm saying. It's going to take some time for him to actually come to power to get the treaty signed, and that's when the 7 years starts. Now, um, when listening to that, if you decide to go to there, think about it. When they made those books and when they made those audio dramas, that was back in like 1999 and early 2000s. And technology was certainly not what it is today. Smartphones were not a thing. And like when we get further into the tribulation on what's going on with the trumpets, the seals, the trumpets, and the bowls, I'll explain how technology comes about. And along with the fact that like my second video, I believe, my third video, I believe, um, I talk about the nano tattoos that don't need batteries, and I still have that paperwork right there on the desk. Um, on how technology comes about for the um, Mark of the Beast, but not going into that quite yet. He has to be able to have some time, like I said, and technology here. You know, X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all streaming services. There's going to be a time where like that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be seeing most of him and Israel, and the news coverage of millions across the world vanish. We need someone to save us. He will come onto the scene. And as we see him rise to power, people will be surprised, but people will be like enamored by him. They'll be like, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about. This guy is absolutely the Messiah. Like he could bring world peace, which he does for a split second. A split second. Um, and like I said, once he convinces every nation to be on board with this, and here's how, like I said, to be convinced to take your position or say, hey, I'm not going to be considered the president of the United States. I'm just going to be considered the head of this kingdom. But the kingdom is part of your worldly reign. Like, no one in any of the countries are going to want to do that. Nobody wants to be like, oh, yeah, instead of the king of England, it's okay, I'm just going to be king of my country under your reign. Like, instead of having your own little kingdoms and countries, you're going to be under somebody else's rule. Like, nobody wants that. They want to be able to rule their own countries. But the Antichrist is going to be like, hey, you know what? You are. But we're all going to work on this together. That's why it says 10 horns. It's 10 divisions, 10 groups. And I think there is actually something in the UN that talks about they've already kind of divided things up into 10 not kingdoms, but 10 leaders and groups. So it's interesting how they're kind of already setting that up. But it's set up so that the Antichrist doesn't really have to do a whole lot. People are like, oh wait, hey, we already got this going on here. Take a look. Hey, yeah. But it's trying to convince people to go along with it. That's going to be the harder part if you want to go on our standard of living. Not for him though. It's going to be easy because he's just going to walk in and be like, hey, I know you are loving your position, but I need you to now work for me. And for the president of the United States, because we're in an election year, we have a couple of things that could happen. Um, a, the election doesn't happen. They put Kamala Harris in, and then as the Antichrist rises to power, it's easy enough to sway her to do this stuff. I mean, if you think about the type of stuff that Kamala Harris is trying to do, it probably wouldn't be too difficult for her to kind of go along with the idea. If there is an election that happens for America, it's not going to be another person that has anything to do with God. It's going to be yet another person. So it might even be another Democrat, a Democratic Party, that would be put into office. Or it could literally just be Kamala Harris going into office because of the fact that like, if she's sworn in, she could just be elected officially by that point. But it wouldn't be too long before all these governments are under part of the 10 horns. And like I said, the 3 horns that get destroyed are part of the first 4 seals, which are the first 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, as it's considered. And we will definitely go into that as well. But this is why I say the evidence and the pattern that we look at shows more on the fact that the rapture has to occur before the 7-year tribulation and before the Antichrist comes to power. And there will be plenty of people who will still say, nope, you're wrong. I'm going based on the patterns, like I've been saying this entire time. I go on the patterns. I pray about the message that I need to give to you guys. And this one I've been meaning to do for a while, but I think after every other video that I've done and kind of covered those things, I think God was like, okay, now's the time to do this one because of how close we are. Like I said, keep paying attention to the stuff going on over there in Israel, all that news. We will be seeing crazy amounts of prophecy happening, and they've been happening just one after another. But keep on, thinking or looking at this stuff. But like I said, this is why, as a summary of all this, Rapture happens, Antichrist comes on the scene. People are worried about what's going on in the Rapture, but he starts talking. He starts coming around the scene saying, hey, everybody, don't worry. This is what happened. He is going to be able to manipulate everybody, except for those who are born again believers after the rapture. And there will be plenty of people, because anybody who watches this doesn't get saved before the rapture. This is like the cosmic I told you so. This is what's going to happen. Get right here. Get right with God here. You don't want to wait until after. life is going to be bad. Um, he starts believing people. Those who become believers, those who become get saved right after the rapture, they will start seeing what we're seeing as watchmen, seeing what I'm seeing. That's from the Bible that we will talk about. And then they will be the ones who are like, hey, this guy is the Antichrist. Think about this. Look at all the patterns and evidence. Like I say, we're using patterns and evidence. And that's how you're going to follow along with what's in Revelation to what's happening in real life. And as he starts coming to power, they will all see, oh yeah, this is this is the man we want as king of the earth, and they will elect him as king of the earth, and he will convince everybody that there needs to be a peace treaty. But then sudden destruction. So that is a summary of the rise to power. The next one we will do on the Four Horsemen. So, yeah, it's like I said, it's patterns and it's evidence. That's what we got to look at: patterns and evidence, not just what people say. Um, and on everything that I tell you guys to look at the Bible. Um, don't take my word for it. Pray to God. Pray that He reveals if this is the proper pattern. It's the proper pattern. Um, Pray that He reveals to you what anything that you need to do, and you know, see if my words are true. And like I said, we're so close. We're so close. So um, let me go ahead and we'll do a prayer, and we'll kind of end the video today. It's probably another 45-minute video, but all right. Well, Lord, today we have another great video to try to get those who are on the fence, wondering whether this stuff is true or not. Um, those who are coming to this channel not knowing much about what's to come. Maybe their eyes will be open. Lord, open hearts, open minds, open eyes. Let everybody who sees this, come to you, talk to you, say, hey, Lord, is this true? Is this the type of stuff that we need to be looking for? That they may know as well, that they can spread the word. Be like, oh wow, look at what's going on. And we need to get saved. We need to accept that free gift of salvation to have everlasting life in heaven. And the those who are on the fence, maybe this might convince them that this is what we need to where we need to go. And Lord, those who are resistant, definitely open their hearts and minds as well, that they may be convinced as well. Lord, thank you for impressing upon me this very message. I know I've been wanting to do this for a while, but you said today is the day, and we will certainly get this message out. So, everybody, yeah, in your name, Heavenly Father, amen. And everybody, hopefully you've been enjoying my son's little antics while we pray. My little buddy loves God as well. And everybody, you have a wonderful day. Hopefully it's not too hot where you are. Hopefully it's not too rainy. And hopefully today, it'll be a decent day. But anyways, God loves you guys fiercely and passionately, unconditionally. I have a video about that, my second video that I made. Check that out. It'll explain why. But yeah, everybody, you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.